Hello, everyone. Jane here from Your Way Weight Loss. Today we're talking about past mistakes. Hi, Leash.
Hey.
Holy moly. This would be the last podcast in July. Like our next podcast is August. And August it's an important month for us at Your Way Weight Loss. Like
It really is. It's like gearing up for September, which is always massive for us. Like it's so busy that fresh school year that people really I think it's bigger than New Year.
I know what you mean. Like, especially like for our members, like our clientele, CQV, like we have tons of moms or, people that really resonate with the fact that September is like a new year. September has a new fresh smell to it. And we're excited. We have some amazing things coming up, amazing surprises for our members, amazing new products as well in their library. We just have amazing things coming up.
We just can't help ourselves.
Amazing, can't help ourselves. Oh my God, my mom just texted me. She's like, I have a surprise. If Noah's a good boy, I bought him an airplane. Like, oh my God, it's all about Noah and his.
As if your mom is going to make sure he's a good boy before she gives him the airplane.
She's so funny. She's like, was he a good boy? I'm like, he had an accident today. Let's say that was to happen for his potty training, which is going actually really well. He is never really having accidents. Anyways, and she'd be like, oh, but the other day he did great. So this is why he's getting she's trying to find reasons to get it. I'm like, oh my God.
Your mom is like that, just she is like that grandmother that is just like,
oh yeah,
whatever you want.
She was that mom as well. She was that mom. Like that's how she was with us. I don't even know how we ended up being successful. And both my brother and I are both successful and happy, and we have shit together. You know what I mean? We got our shit together, and now having her as a mom who was such a she babied us so much, but we still are so, I don't know.
But there was balance. Your dad, I think, had,
right.
And he also modeled, working his butt off. So you saw that.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? As I'm thinking about this, if we didn't have good grades, if we didn't, whatever, he would not, we weren't as gâtés if we didn't, it wasn't just you get it because I can afford it or I want to give it to you. It was legit. You need to have good grades. You need to go to university. You need to have this. You need to do that. Yeah, you're right. And also, I think it was just also Don Uzo. I was 11 and I had my first job. You know what I mean? So obviously it had nothing to do with, my brother wasn't as smart as me though. He worked later.
Okay. He wasn't as driven.
No. He was driven. I was way more driven than he was at a young age. I think he only started working when he went to university, actually. I worked every summer.
Oh, I was super driven. I always had more than one job. I remember in university saying to my mom, because I lived with my parents for most of my university. And I remember saying Mom, I need to go to the library right now. And she's like, you need to go right now. And I was like, yes. And she's like, and you really need to stay till 10 p.m. That's ridiculous. And I was like, Mom, I have studying to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I remember those conversations. She was like, can you just chill a little bit?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Our upbringing they were different for sure.
They were. Yeah.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
Mistakes.
Past mistakes. What got me to think about this is listening to the Confidence Queen podcast. You guys, it's a really good podcast. Love it. She's, I like her.
I love her. Love her vibe.
On our podcast.
I'm excited.
It's coming.
Okay.
But it was, she does quick, her podcasts are really short. So if that's your vibe, she would be your girl. And they're not in your face or to the point, but kinda. They're more serious and more they're
mindset, and it's take ownership of your own life. Don't be a victim. You know what I mean? She's very much there's no excuse, there's choices. I like it.
Yeah, same. And there are a few messages that I really enjoyed from her podcast. And one of them was the past mistakes one. She really sees past mistakes as not mistakes. That basically they set you up for where you are today, and that she wouldn't trade all the shit she went through even if it was shitty and hard, and she would never like want that for someone else. But she's like, but I still am grateful for that hardship.
I know.
That brought her where she is today. It's like almost like me. Like if I wouldn't have been obese at such a young age, all of everything that I know and my passion and just who I am and what I've created out of who I am would have not happened. So I wouldn't be like, oh, wish I wouldn't have had obesity issues at a young age. Like it worked out, you know?
I know. And you know what? As much as when you said this is what we're doing for the podcast, the topic, I'm like, oh yeah, we got this. And then I'm like, wait, I think I'm the same. I don't define anything in my life as a mistake. Like
Yeah.
I think about all the times I tried to lose weight and then gained it back, all the different diets I tried, all of that. I don't regret them. That helped me to learn and grow and be who I am.
But do we feel this way because we're where we are today? Like if, you know, I think that when you're like, man, that was a mistake, is if you're still living with the consequences of that choice. So
That's
we're
a good
not,
one.
you know, we're not living with any consequences of any of our choices because we turn that shit around. If we did a mistake, we learned from it and we actually like use it as experience and knowledge and whatever. And now here we are. So maybe it's about when something shitty happens to you. I've said shit a lot in this podcast, but if shit and shitty, but if something crappy happens to you and shit comes knocking, like she says, I love that about her. She's like, she obviously says all the words, which I enjoy. When shit comes knocking, we don't look at that as like, we look at things, you and I both, Leash, are very much this way. We look at things with a problem solving lens.
Yeah.
Like a solution lens, and not like, this was a mistake. Now I'm into this moment where I'm like living it and I'm dreading it and I'm being dramatic about it. So I don't know. Like sometimes I'm like, is this because we often have moments where we're like, man, life is good, right? We have that. We have those moments a lot where we're like, man, life is good, huh? And then I'm like, are we just quote unquote lucky? But I do think it's the way we see life. And there are things that come to us that are like, oh, that's annoying. But then we create a solution. Like we don't dwell on the problem.
No. And even when I have made a mistake, again, I don't dwell on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I try not to beat myself up over it, you know, for a long period of time. I just kind of try to see it as learning and like, okay, now what? Like, this is what's in front of me. Now, what do I do with what is in front of me and the resources that I do have available to me?
I also, yes. Also, I'm going to use the word hate here.
Okay.
Being in a state of mind of like negative and victim. I like absolutely hate solo. Okay. Like, and I think that that's I guess a quality or something that's necessary for you to be able to want to solve something is actually hating. Like I do not like feeling sad and kind of out of control, or like not like I'm not in control of this situation. Or so for me, it was like, okay, how can okay, for example, I will always remember this. When we were building our home, we have this beautiful bench, and like this is like a big part of like, I guess for me, when I was like thinking of my home, one day I will have a bench and it will have stripes on it. Like that, like for me was like a big part of it. And where I'm going with this is we go to pick up the bench and they had sewn on the material the wrong way. They had sewn it on that way, the
Okay.
wrong way. Do you get what I mean? Not vertically,
I
but
do.
horizontally.
Yeah.
And you can pretend like that's not a big problem, but that effing sucks, no? Okay? Because it's like they need to restart this whole freaking process.
Yeah.
And you know, you want the bench today. Like you were so excited to pick up the friggin' bench, and you get there and they sewed on the material the wrong way. Like that is annoying, no? Okay?
100%.
So naturally the first moment, like I want to cry. Like obviously I'm exhausted at this point. I'm probably like 17 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I was just so looking forward to this, and I was like, really? I also had spent so much money on that material. Now this material is worth nothing anymore, right? Do they still have it? Do they have more of it? Blah, 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 just all of it. Will they restart? Whose fault is this? All of it.
All of it.
All of it. And I was like so upset by this whole thing. And I don't know why I remember this particular thing. It's such a small thing, but it's one of many examples where you can lose your shit and be like, oh my God, so sad. Like this is a third world problem, là, que ton bench t'es mal coudu.
First world. First world.
Sorry. So trying to be really cool and I fucked it. Oh, I effed it up. I am like a mess today.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So good. So anyways, I'm gonna make fun of that, but Jeff doesn't listen to this podcast. Let's not tell him that I missed so third world is what we're referring to when we're saying first world.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? It's supposed to be first world. Okay, perfect.
Correct.
Oh my God, thank you. It's the French, you guys. Okay. So yes, please forgive me for all of those words. Okay, now I remember being like, okay, breathe, call the company. Let's make a plan. Let's talk to the people because they're upset and they're like, it's your fault. And remember, everyone's being there's a lot of emotions are high. Money. People are talking like people are losing money. Though. Who made this bench is not free. Though. And you just like did this whole 12-foot bench the wrong way. So this material is now in the garbage. I cannot use it anymore. And I need to go buy again. And then you need to do it the right way and blah, 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 blah. And I want it like yesterday because I just waited a full week for this bench. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make difficult conversations. I'm going to have difficult conversations. I'm going to have to like create. I hated staying in the moment of like, this sucks. I'm sad, this blah, blah. I'm like, I stayed there for a second, but then I'm like, okay, well, what's next? Now I have to like find a solution. I have to have this bench. So I just feel like tons of people stay in that frame of mind for so long. Have your moment. This sucks. This is annoying, very annoying. But like, there are phone calls that can be made. You can ask for help. You can act. There's action. There's an action that can happen right now.
Conversations and communication can happen to resolve this mistake.
Yes.
And you know what? Some people would have just taken the wrong way. And then they would have, tons of people would have, and then they would have been negative every time they looked at the bench in their home.
Yeah.
And some people don't realize that actually not accepting that is a choice. Like, sometimes I hear people complaining about situations that have happened and what they've accepted, but I need to remind them that actually you accepting certain things is a choice.
I love that. You accepted this situation. And sometimes people are like, I had no choice. I think you had one, and I mean, we're not talking about anything that is completely out of your control. There are things that happen to people.
Of course.
But you can always decide what's next. How am I going to see this thing that I'm going through? How am I going to prioritize making sure that I am, I guess, happy and healthy and feeling like you're still in control of your next action, you guys. You really are.
And I need to remind people too that I know this isn't really what this is about, but when a situation when you're faced with a situation that can be difficult, there's many situations that I have zero control over that situation, but I do have control over certain actions that I can do, not to change the situation, but just to make me feel better. So
yes, that's what I meant when I said, like, sometimes you're faced with something that you cannot change the situation. You cannot change the diagnosis. You cannot,
but you can, there are things that you can do to help you mentally accept, move forward, feel better. Like, and obviously you have your moment, but there's always things that you can do.
1000%. That's exactly what I was talking about. That was well said. Because I do feel like, I think the reason why we are looking for it to make me feel better is because I hate feeling sad. I do. I hate feeling like, oh, like annoyed and like, so just like, okay, when Noah, because you guys now know that Noah was diagnosed, or Alfie's diagnosis with his learning disability, like that sucks. That's annoying. That's hard. Like, that's not fun. You can't change the diagnosis. I could not change Noah's diagnosis. You couldn't change Alfie's. And it's like, but what I wanted was, what can I do to make me feel better about the diagnosis? So for me, it was reading on it, asking a bajillion questions. And that for me was my way of making me feel better about it. And I obviously yours as well. You wanted, when you got Alfie's diagnosis, it was like, okay, how can I act? Because I'm going to have a moment of, I'm going to cry. This sucks. Wish my kid did not have this diagnosis, but I can't change the diagnosis. So I can only move forward and make myself feel more prepared, more knowledgeable as well on the situation, and one day at a time. Like, what is happening today? What can I do today?
And do you know what else I did with that is I said to myself, okay, I can get him tutoring twice a week. And I've said to myself before, oh, I could be doing more with him. But then I said, do you know what, Alicia? You need to balance out his actual life. So like, could I do more? Yes. But like, I guess my point is, I would love for everyone to have a conversation with themselves and say, what am I willing to do? Like, and then not guilt yourself over not doing more. Like, you have a conversation with you and say, okay, what am I willing to do? How many minutes? How much commitment am I willing? And then that's it. No more noise. No more, I should be doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. This is what my plan is. Maybe set a date for yourself to reassess and maybe make a new plan, but like, done.
And yes. And while I'm thinking about this, I'm like, you know what? You know who has past mistakes, they're like, oh, that was a mistake, is when they accepted something that they did not want to accept.
That is good.
Because imagine if I would have accepted that bench wrong, I would have been like, oh, that was a mistake. Like, I should have pushed through it. I should have. And how many times do we have that with weight loss? A past mistake is quitting too early. A past mistake is, so you basically, when something went wrong, you accepted it. You're like, defeated. Oh, well, you didn't go and was like, what's next? How can I learn more? How can I know more? How can I feel more in control? How can I learn from this one? What's the next action, right? So I do think that that's how you have mistakes.
I think that probably a lot of people listening to this who have had weight loss journeys could maybe identify a mistake was not staying connected to their goals, was giving up. Yeah. I think that they probably, reflecting back, would say that was a mistake. I should have stayed connected, during the summer, or during something that was hard in my life, or during time that I didn't even want to lose weight. Like, I shouldn't have left. I should have stayed connected.
I should have stayed connected, because I truly believe that that's what makes mistakes. That's what creates mistakes, is when you're like, I just accepted it. I just accepted the fact that I felt crappy and whatever. And I just like didn't push through. You know what I mean?
Okay, this is kind of like turning it, but I mean, we're all over the place. But I'm thinking, for me, what I would define as a mistake is like something that's happened with my kids that has resulted in injuries, and I feel like it's my fault.
Okay.
So I had this one moment. I'm like not proud to share this with you guys, but I will. That we were getting Chinese food, okay? And Alfie came with me to pick it up. He was like 2. He was little. And we're walking out of the Chinese food restaurant, and I have a whole, like, it's for Neil's parents too, so I have a ton of boxes. And I don't realize, but the door is going to slam shut. Like, I let the door go thinking Alfie has enough time to exit where the door is going to hit him, is not going to hit him. So I let the door go. Okay. He doesn't move fast enough. I see the door going towards him, and there's stairs in front of him. It's going to hit him, and he's going to fall down the stairs. but I'm holding the Chinese food. And I knew I didn't have time to put it down and save my child. I knew the only way to save my child was to throw the Chinese food and then save him. So I chose to save the Chinese food. And that was a mistake. He fell down the stairs and I felt so bad. I felt so bad.
I see what you're saying about our kids. I know what you mean. We're like, that was a mistake. Like me,
that was a mistake.
Me not having a thing for Noah to go down the stairs and just trusting that I will see him with my eyes and save him from falling. He fell 2-3 times down the stairs. Like, this is a mistake, Jose. Like, that was a mistake. You should have had a fence or whatever we call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, is it time for me to tell them the story about me and where I'm in Palm Beach and I made the mistake of, I'm saying it. I'm telling it right now. You guys.
Oh, this is it. This is the moment.
This is the moment. Okay. So Dia, you guys are going to love this. And then we have to go because I have a dentist appointment. Okay. So Dia is 5 months old. We go on our first trip in Palm Beach at a hotel. Jeff is doing conferences. So we're bringing Dia. It's perfect timing. She's only breastfeeding, not even eating solids. Super easy to bring your baby at this point. So you guys do not judge me, okay? I mean, my mom only heard about this like at my 2 years later.
This is a judgment-free zone.
Thank you. Okay, so we go to the hotel and I'm like, so basically she is sleeping in the bathroom on the floor because I took out the mattress from the crib they gave us and put it on the floor in the bathroom. Dia was like such a good sleeper. You put her there and she wouldn't move and she would fall asleep, okay? Anyways, you guys. So I really wanted to take part of the evening events, but we're just Jeff and I and the baby. So I think it's a good idea. This is 100% a mistake, okay? Do not do this. So I think it's a good idea to go and enjoy some alone time with my husband while my baby is sleeping in our room, not being watched by anyone. But I'm like, it's a hotel. The door is locked. Like, she's going to be fine. They're not going to steal her. So, but wait, I'm not gone for hours. For every 10 minutes would go and check on her. So I would go check on her. She'd be fine sleeping. And then I just go back downstairs again, 10 minutes. I'd put a little alarm and I go check on her. Okay. So it's the last time, just like, okay, let's go up. Like, I'm done, socializing. So we go up and I make the corner and we see our door open. My heart drops. I want to puke. I'm like, maybe we're on the wrong floor. So I start running and I open up the door and there is Dia in the girl that does the service, the down service. So he's the maid. We would call her the maid. Okay. So the maid is holding her. She's 5 months old. Okay. The maid is holding Dia. And then the security guard is like, we just found a baby in your room. Oh my God. I wanted to die. Okay. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I grabbed Dia from the maid. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, then she's like, it's fine. Like, I was just coming to do the turn down service and I opened the door of the bathroom and your baby was on the floor sleeping. And I am just like, I am embarrassed. I'm the worst mom ever. Obviously, I'm trying to explain to them that I was coming every 10 minutes, but there's nothing that we can say at this point that really makes you not feel like shit. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling so sorry. Obviously bawled my eyes out once they left. And I was like, I will never leave you again. Like, oh my God. Imagine though, that like moment when you make the corner and the door
moment, that moment.
And the manager or whatever, the security guard's like, did you get the call? We called downstairs to say we found a baby. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, embarrassing. Oh my God. And I told Jeff, like, we're not telling our parents. Like, Dia's like tiny. And I'm like a 28-year-old. Like, we're just barely like, you know what I mean? We're barely adults.
I really don't think it was that bad. You were in the hotel. You checked on her.
Okay, thank you so much, Alicia, because I feel like you would never do that. You would probably never do that, but at least you're not being like, Josie, that was really bad.
Sometimes I don't think that, but sometimes I do have moments where I make choices and then I'm like, oh, is that the choice I should make? Like, I'm like really in charge right now. Like sometimes I have moments where I'm like, why am I the one in charge?
Yes, it's so exhausting.
Like at the water park, how much do I watch them? Like, do
Right.
I, like, do my eyes see them all the time?
Right. No, I know what you're saying. And then, like, if something were to happen, they're like, "Are you the parent?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Yes, but like,
And then you like look around kind of at other
like, you mean
parents.
no?"
You're like looking at other parents. You're like, yeah, no, I let them go for a walk in the woods.
Yeah,
And then you're like, oh, I
yes.
did that.
Like, okay, basically, it's totally fine until something traumatic happens. Oh,
Yes.
they got lost and got eaten by a wolf. They let them go alone. Very bad. You would have done that too. You just weren't expecting them to be eaten by wolves. Like no one expected this, and you're the
No
parent
one.
who did that. Like sometimes, like Dia's like, "Can I go to grandma's without her helmet?" And then I'm like, "Yes, but because it's legit 3 houses. But imagine she gets hit by a car. The first question they're gonna ask, did she have her helmet on? And then I'm gonna be the parent that let their kids go on the street with the bike without the helmet. Like everyone effing does it. And everyone's like taking that chance until it's you that goes through that traumatic experience.
I
So I'm
know.
like, put it on because I wouldn't want to be the parent that happens to. And obviously, I obviously don't want you to die. But like, you know what I mean? Like the chances.
I know. I
The
know.
chances of the turn down lady comes in, finds my baby, arrête.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I guess the only thing that we're defining as mistakes are things that involve our kids.
I know. Because we were in charge and we like screwed up, you know?
And we're in charge of another person.
I know. Yes.
Right? Like if it's just me, I don't feel as bad because it's me that messed up
Right.
for me. It's when I
Right.
mess up for another human.
Right. I think that's why being a parent is freaking hard.
So hard.
Because you're fully in charge. And like if you make a mistake, you like ruin their lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, vraiment,
So in charge.
yes, like there are so many sad things that happen to people that leave their kids. Like there's documentaries on Netflix about people that left their children in their room and they disappeared, you know?
That's true. I did think of that story, but didn't want to say it.
I watched that documentary, had to stop. Like I couldn't, I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, they obviously didn't mean for this to happen. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't watch
Of
it.
course.
I don't know what happened. I mean,
Okay.
they are kind of blaming the parents, but like this was like, you know, who knows? Who really knows?
Who
Right?
knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Oh my God, you guys, another 27 minutes. I need to go
Okay.
to the dentist. I hate the dentist and it's my brother.
I'm so sorry. I hate the dentist too. I have to go on Monday.
Oh, I have to like go brush my teeth for now. Basically, I haven't brushed my teeth in the last year, so I need to do it right before I go. My dental hygiene is really low, you guys. Jeff thinks I'm
And her teeth are gorgeous.
my teeth are gorgeous. Every time I go, they're like, wow, you must really take good care. I'm like, yes, no. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I watch Girls. Do you watch Girls? What
No.
a funny show. Okay, so it's on Crave. It's really funny. Anyway, so she's at the hotel and it's like the main actress. She's hilarious. Frig, I love her. And her mom's like, are you gonna go brush your teeth? She's like, no, I'm really a hardcore brusher in the morning. So it does the job. And so I looked at Jeff last night and I'm like, that's me. He's like, you're so gross.
So funny.
Hardcore brusher in the morning. I thought, oh man, I love her so much. She's so funny.
Okay, wait. I feel like that they say the same thing to me at the dentist. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you must floss." Like, I'm like, "Do you want me to lie to you?" Like, absolutely not. Like, I brush my teeth once, sometimes twice a day. And I think it's because we eat healthy.
You think so?
Yes, that must have something to do with it.
I don't know. I drank 3 coffees today, so they're gonna be like, wow, huh? There's a lot of tar. Is it tar?
Tartar? Tartar. No.
Hopefully it's not tar. I think tar is like what they pave the people.
It's definitely not tar.
Okay. Again. Oh, what?
It's plaque.
Plaque. Yes, that's what it is. Oh, yeah, good plaque. Okay, yeah, I like it. Okay, you guys, come find us on our things.
Oh my goodness.
Obviously, like this podcast and tell your friends. And hopefully you enjoyed this. And hopefully you are learning from your past mistakes, which really, at the end of the day, you are in charge of how you feel and how you make yourself feel about things. Okay, bye, Leash.
Bye.